What's up, everybody? Alright, so I see a lot of people asking me a lot of questions about what the purpose of the group is and what are we doing next. Well, the purpose of the group was just really very much just to see how many of you people actually had an interest in what we were doing. That's one of the biggest things that interested all of us. The second aspect of it was within the group, how many of you would be willing to do something and actually get on board and work on singular projects and make it grow. Now, you've heard me say it about, I don't know, 100 times, depending where you're reading me or where you're listening to me, but we all remember Coney 2012. We're looking for a campaign, an advertising campaign, that large, with that much fervor and speed that could just fly across the internet. That's what the Worldwide Resistance Network is going to be put together. The Resistance Is Now group was a pilot program. How many of you want to get in? Now, what I've created here, if you do a quick Facebook search on your own, you'll notice that there's only two groups that exist right now called the Worldwide Resistance Network. One is in English, which is the one I've just finished putting together, and the other one is in French that I had asked a counterpart of mine to put together quite a while back. All that's being put together. You'll notice the membership is quite low. This is being done on purpose. We haven't split anybody off into working groups because we don't really even know what we're doing within the group, that working group yet. We haven't decided what projects that we're really going to attack collectively. But what we have done is split off separate Connor camps. So we're introducing the idea to people. The Worldwide Resistance is, the Resistance Is Now, if you notice, if I'm not mistaken, it's called the Connor camp. And if you look at my hashtag thingy on the top of my Facebook where it says John Connor, it actually says Resistance Is Now. They cross each other like that on purpose so that you know that there is a connection between the two. You'll see a lot of my shit does that, crossing over, because we're promoting people to move on to the next idea. Although the idea is there and the fire is burning, you still have to move on your idea. You have to create actions. So that's what we're doing now. With the Worldwide Resistance Network group, we're going to take, quite literally, the best of the best. Those in the Resistances Now who have demonstrated what they can do in the past and have built it, you will be assigned to this group for the videos, because the videos will be considered official videos. These official videos will be on the website. You'll be put there for your graphic designs, for the wallpapers and the memes and all the pictures that you guys want to put together. This is going to be an official spot. We didn't create anything like this before. This was just for fun. We were just having a good time. When I said in my last video that we're going to have to start taking ourselves more seriously, one of those steps is uniformity. We have our YouTube channel with great amounts of subscribers that are just climbing. Through the climbing of the YouTube, the Facebook groups keep climbing. So what we're going to do now is offer to the people an official section where if they want to talk about the Worldwide Resistance Network and they want to talk to the people who created it and how it works, it's right there. Just talk to us. We're human beings. Just shoot us a question. It's right there to be built and to be elaborated on. Like I said in past videos, we're preparing to actually register and do things that need to be done so that this is safe and so that we're as legal as we can be. This will also offer a forum and a platform of communication for the worldwide activists, so that if we want to know what's going on in the United States, if we want to know what's going on in Canada, in Japan, anywhere that we want to know, it's there. We hit the translate button, we figured it out, and it's all people like us that are building it. So I've seen how much speed and fervor that the Resistance Is Now has grown with only 1 to 6 people. Okay? When I started, it was all by myself. I just started the group. There's me. I put 5 people in that group. Now there's well over 5,000 people. I did my math in one of my last videos wrong. I thought I was at 5,000 moving up to 6, but it turned out it was at 4 moving to 5. That's irrelevant to me, but the concept here is that there was a lot of people that demonstrated a willingness to learn and understand what was happening. So with that information that's been going through the group, we're going to make it a lot of it official. The official opinion of the Worldwide Resistance Network, the official actions of the Worldwide Resistance Network, the official declarations, the official deadlines. All of these things are going to begin to roll in. So just stay focused with what's going on. Make sure the information that you're bringing to us is as truthful as possible. If you have other websites that you know have immense amounts of information that would help us, make sure you let us know. We need to network them in. We need to examine what they have. We need to put it all together. We're going to make the #1 censored website on the internet. That's what the goal is. We're going to do all of that without showing any tits, and we will become one of the most censored sites on the internet. It's going to have it all. Just because of the nature of what it links out to, they won't be able to control it. They've been trying to bring down all the sites out there that hold little pieces of this information. We're creating a portal. We're creating a hub in which will bring you one site will land you on all of the sites at your fingertips. To an individual who knows how to navigate themselves, they'll be able to stay current with what's going on in the real world. Persons that just found it, they will lose themselves for weeks with just a drowning of information. So, as you see, great many of groups are popping up on just every social media network. Oh, we want to unite the global activists. We want to make sure that we're all together. Okay, well, I began that in October 15, 2011, actually. Not too long after Occupy sprung worldwide, I understood back then that a back burner project would be required because at this point we were watching singular, no matter how large the group was and the hive mind was at play, we were still observing singular motions, country by country, city by city, province and province, state by state, still very singular. Thousands and thousands of people, yes, of course, but singular. So what we're doing now is taking the very people that were in charge of putting those massive, massive protests together. We're asking them to get on board with us to unify a worldwide protest like never before, and that will be the declaration of the Worldwide Resistance Network. Always remember that you are John Connor, not me. Okay? There's 5,035 or 38, or if I'm looking, it's probably up at 5,040. God knows how many members are in there right now. But what I'm saying is that you're all John Connor, because when you are alone on the protest field, preaching and speaking the ideology of the Worldwide Resistance Network in order to unify what's taking place, you are doing exactly what I did with everybody that I could get my hands on online. So, online, I might be John Connor. I might be the quote-unquote leader of what's going on. But you will realize very quickly that what I'm producing for you is not a means of to bind you to me. It's not a means of control. What we're trying to do is bring a tool to the table, and that tool, that entire thing, will be created by John Connor, which will be created by everybody, which will be created by Anonymous, Tyler. Pick a name and call him Adam, call her Eve. I don't care what you want to call it, but motherfucker, we're going to make it. We're going to make this thing. And once it's done, it's going to blow the pants off of everybody. There will be so much of an abundance of information that it'll be too hard to negate the truth. The only project to do after that is make sure that it's inside every household. We want the Worldwide Resistance Network to become a household name, just like Luke Skywalker was the leader of the scrappy band of rebels, and John Connor in the movie became this underground cultish ideology of the end of the world, and all of these things. We want the Worldwide Resistance Network to be a household recognized name. How do we do it? Because once that's done, we have the elites by the balls. Because then we're playing on their field. Who controls the masses' ideological thinking? Is it them or is it us? And right now, that power struggle is taking place. So it's very interesting to see what's happening. So, steps going forward for the nonprofit organization? Absolutely. It's going through. So what do I want to see in this new group that I put together? Okay? Its purpose is to network all global activists in every community worldwide. That's a no-brainer. That has been the mission statement of the Connor Camp since day one, is to grab every activist worldwide and stick them in a think tank. Okay? What assets do we have right now to pull that off? Our assets include every social networking group that we're part of, that we can go in and just freaking inundate with information. Okay? Our video and other interactive media technologies, so we have YouTube, and I can't even begin to explain how many things that we're working in that realm that people are figuring out and saying, hey Connor, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do that? I don't understand half the shit coming my direction, so I just tell these boys to do it. And if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're going to bring it all in anyway. Okay? Access to photo libraries, access to memes and other videos, like I said, on all these other areas. But what we also have, the Worldwide Resistance Network, is a very active group of people that have no problem going on the the front lines and being protesters. So we have a very committed front lines foot soldier, and that's amazing. That's one of the hardest things to achieve. Okay? And all of these things are being utilized to centralize the goals and efforts that we're doing. So people don't really like that. They like small government. They like this. They like that. But this is what we're trying to do. We're centralizing it in this hub, of this website. Well, this group that we've created on Facebook, the Worldwide Resistance Network, has to have in its files memes, just jokes about ourselves, just for fun, just to do it. Videos, the official videos that will be put through that our video techs take care of. Okay? The rules and codes of conduct. We're in how many groups? We've seen how many code of conduct models and things like that. We can copy, paste, put together, do it wherever. It doesn't matter. Just we'll figure that part out. But we need to create it. Okay? A list of the admins within the group and the duties of what it is that they do. And people should be able to see these things. By seeing these things, they'll be able to approach the right administrator for the right project. A little bit of coordination and organization never hurt nobody. Okay? Always remember to source all the websites that you're using. So there's going to be a file, and if you bring in a video, if you bring in something from another site, you just go and you paste the link to that site in that file. New members or even the owner of the site that comes in and sees that you've sourced, documented out, most people don't complain as long as you do it with a little bit of dignity and respect. Okay? A list of all the groups that we use in this network. Okay? I have one of those on the Worldwide Resistance Network webpage. I haven't combed through it to see what's still working and what's not working, and I haven't added anything new, but I got over like 12 or 1500 groups that are similar to this. And the job is to get these 12 or 1500 groups into this one group, okay, and really start doing some damage. Okay, the list of projects, the list of operations that we're trying to put together. Okay, like this here, this is a submission video. This isn't even a project or an operation. This is just, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not asking permission, I'm doing it. And the next step is, what do you want to do once it's done? Okay? We also want a progress report. If I'm failing, and I'm going to tell you. And if I'm succeeding, I'm succeeding, and I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you where I need help. I'm going to tell you, everything that I need. And you're going to tell me what you need from me. We've been doing this shit for 3 years. Don't pretend like we haven't. So we're just going to bounce off of each other for a while now. Okay? An awards list. In the Worldwide Resistance Network, everybody who created the Resistances Now and every page out there that we've been working with and every group out there that we've been working with, we want to be able to give them a little recognition for their work. If they choose to stay anonymous, they'll tell us and we'll leave them as anonymous. If they want to be recognized for their efforts, then they'll be recognized for their efforts. Okay? That's the first files that we want guests and people are seeing. We want them to see that. The next one, so we stop beating around the bush and always filling our actual group section with the same information over and over again. We're going to create files that content exactly what we're always talking about. So the real world, New World Order agenda participants, don't bring me the theory, bring me the people and the hardcore evidence that proves that these people are participating. That's what that file is going to contain. No matter who brings it, there it is. But anybody, boom. Banking system explanations in depth. We should always have. Every group that's like-minded to this should always have a very strong banking system explanation section. It's a mandatory thing. Explanation of current political construct. We're going to need that to explain to people all political constructs have been deemed fallacies and that we can't use any of them, so we have to design our own. We have to explain to people why they don't work. Explain the current religious construct. Explain how that's being used to control people and how that's being, not that we're trying to remove faith and dignity and love and hope and no, we're not trying to remove that from the planet. We're just trying to make sure that people aren't throwing babies off of mountains like way back in the day. So we're just going to examine those things and make it available for the public so that they can look into it for us and with us. A strong history of the Occupy movement. This is where a lot of this shit was born. People have been doing this for decades, 20, 30, 40 years. They knew this information and they were researching it, okay? So the Occupy movement really kind of oomphed threw something into perspective here, okay? History of the Anonymous Collective, where'd that come from? How did that jostle our cages? How did that push us in a direction? So we make sure that that's on there for people to see. History of the Connor Camp and its founders, which is people like myself and all the people that made the Resistances Now in the early stages, how it boomed from 6 people to 5,000 plus. those people, they need to be recognized for their work and their effort if they choose to be recognized. Okay? Fully explaining who is John Connor. As I said earlier, I am not John Connor, you're John Connor. But this is so much more precise than that. It's the ideology and the construct that I put behind these projects is huge. So there's going to be an entire section that explains exactly who I am and who I won't be on the day they put handcuffs on me, and how it'll be your job to become John Connor, and what ethics and morals and things that you live through when you're representing John Connor and the Worldwide Resistance Network. Explaining the history of the T-1000, Team T-1000. We have a team within our group that protects us, and they need recognition, and they will receive recognition. Just not right now, because I'd much rather keep them a secret for a little longer. All of this above content must be tightly knit and understandable in order to capitalize on the next steps. Alright? That's what we're trying to do here. All of this information is relevant, and we haven't even gotten into the scientific stuff like HARP and chemtrails and the engineering stuff like DARPA, and so we haven't even touched that stuff yet. This is just a very bare bones basic, let's get into the game. Okay? So, what are we doing once we register the site? Because right now, if you haven't noticed, it's just a little dinky 10-page free site, and we're moving forward with different things as soon as we register it. And one of the things I'm going to come with it, unlimited pages, so your voice will be heard. Everything you said in the Resistances Now, everything that you stood behind with fervor, and Idle No More, and Occupy, and Anonymous, and End the Fed, and I don't care who and where, what organization you come from. If your word holds value and virtue, it will be heard. We will make sure there's a section of it on the site. As I said, we're preparing to create one of the most censored sites on the internet. The photo albums that have free photo hosting for every member that wants to host their memes and host this and host that, that's resistance-minded, that they don't have to worry about being censored. Bang. The whole site might be censored, but we're not really going to want to censor you. Very much like what you saw on 4chan with B. That's the direction we want to go, but we don't want it to be so grotesque, although that shit is kind of funny. We want it to be very organized and like the deepest, darkest secrets available that the governments don't want you to know. That is what we consider our B room. So it's very different and still follows the same kind of guidelines. I guess I did my best. We're trying. Okay. And of course our social media sites that we always talk about, the Facebook, which is what I'm talking about, the building of this new group, the YouTube, which is being managed beautifully, the Twitter, we actually don't have anybody running a beautiful Worldwide Resistance Network Twitter. If you want that job, just let us know. You can do that for us. You can run it like a motherfucker. Tiny Chat, we're taking a break from Tiny Chat, but I'm going to look into something else that could replace that. We're going to look at live stream options. That costs money, but we do want the Worldwide Resistance Network to have live stream options, and then the representatives of the Worldwide Resistance Network would have access to this live stream option. No matter where you were in the world, you could sign in as us and broadcast your shit. So I think that's a pretty decent thing, a decent idea to have. That's something that our donations and our funds would definitely be going towards. The most expensive package that the live stream offers, that's what I would like to buy with some of the money for the Worldwide Resistance Network. Just a side note. And it'll hold a forum. Now, we always said about making it a non-profit organization. I have a battle strategy for a store if we chose to go in a profitable section, but for forums and for non-profit, donating money to varying protest sites and relief funds and things like that is the first step that the Resistances Now has decided they want to try and move forward with. So that's what we're going to do. So in order for the non-profit organization to have any kind of pump to start and fervor, which is why the nature of this entire video was started, is it had to have a Facebook group. And if I was going to name it the Worldwide Resistance Network, I wanted the Facebook group to be named that as well. And we have too many members in the Resistances Now to make me rename the group, so it gets all fucking out of proportion, but you understand where I'm going. A Facebook page, which we do have, and it's not a whole lot of boo-ha-ha, but it's there. The YouTube for advertising purposes, to push it around, make sure people do what they got to do with it. The Twitter and all social networks, which is what we're trying to do right now, networking them all together, giving them all the same name, uniformity, run by the same people who started the Occupy movement and the Anonymous movement and the Idle No More movement. All of these people, putting these people behind a worldwide network and hub that they can utilize for themselves. Again, fully accessible internet hub, that's the website that I try to keep building and growing upon. And my grammar on it sucks because it's all just a rough copy of what we're doing. The legal structure and recognition, this is what's so important with the whole nonprofit organization concept of what we're trying to put together here. We want to be legally recognized. If they don't want to recognize us individually, then we want to be legally recognized as an organization. So that's something we're working on towards now. A means to collect money. Okay, if you want to have the almighty powerful dollar in your corner to help, we need a means to collect that money. Okay, monetize the videos. Fastest, cheapest way to start collecting simple donations. We're already starting to see a little bit of money trickle through, so we're liking what we're seeing, and we want to see how far it's going to go after that. Here we go, monetize video. PayPal, we're going to have to establish something like that. That's something that we do with the bank accounts, and that's something that we do with the registration numbers that are given to us. The PayPals then begin to get opened up and put through. Then, through all of that nonsense, I open up a donation button on the website so people from all over the world can donate, even if it's 5 cents, 5,000, it doesn't matter. There it is. Do what you want with it. Let's see how much it brings in. Just like I said, with 6 people, let's start a Facebook group and see how many people roll in, and now we're at 5,000. Doing the same thing with the bank account. We're going to open it up. We're going to do everything that we need, out of pocket, personal expenditure. We're going to do everything that we need on this aspect, and we're going to watch the money roll in and see what happens. What are we going to do with it, though? That's the big thing. Well, we got the Tin Man within the Resistance that has been loyal and faithful since the very beginning, and he's working on a sanctuary recovery program. Same thing as what I'm doing with the registering of the Worldwide Resistance Network. He's registering the sanctuary recovery program, and I have no problems tossing that boy some money to get that put together. So that's one of our primary donation sections. For the people, by the people, built by the people. It's not news to anybody. Internal development of the Worldwide Resistance Network. Some of the donations will be used, as I said as a side note earlier, to get the live stream fees paid and get things like that. So we're on a paying format so that we have as much broad spectrum reach as humanly possible. And then, of course, other democratically decided current causes. And that is what the creation of the Worldwide Resistance Network group is for us to put causes up, to vote as to whether we're going to put money towards those causes or not. So that's the nonprofit organization section. I have the store business plan section here, which I will use to incorporate the same name and use the funds for the same end result. And then who knows what happens after that. But don't forget, and do not be misconstrued, that if I had it my way, the Worldwide Resistance Network would have a 3-way registration, which it would have a representation in the nonprofit organization, it would have a representation in the corporate organizations, and it would have a representation in the religious organizations. And through those 3 organizations, we would create a political representation, and at that point, now you can get somebody on the ballot and vote. Now, that is a huge concept of what I've been working on for the past 3 years, and it's about a 15 to 25 year project, because you need to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people worldwide standing behind you in order to make that move. That move would be so huge, it's impeccable. But anyway, what are we doing? We're gathering everybody that thinks like us together. That's what we're doing. We're grabbing people by the hair, and we're shaking them, and we're saying, wake the fuck up. It's not that complex out there. Chop, chop, let's get to work. That is what we're doing. Okay? It doesn't look like much, but I've shared some of the files I received to people. They're starting to see and understand what I have to deal with on a daily basis and what I have to look through and see what's valid and see what's not. It's coming together. It's not done coming together. We're taking it off the page. That's what we're doing this year. Okay? So as we continue to move forward, I'm going to continue to start telling you, all right, well, I wanted to do this. Yeah, well, it's done. So right now, I wanted to start the Worldwide Resistance Network official Facebook group to marry into the website. The marriage in hasn't happened yet, but the group is started. So if you are part of the team that was thrown into that group, you're part of the management team. You need to help me build this shit. We're going to put it together. And it's going to be these files that I discussed earlier. The memes, the videos, the rules, the admin lists, and so on and so forth are going to be created in that group. So there's not as it'll be more stagnant within the files, so there's not as much repetition within the discussion front page. And we're going to start doing things like that. Don't take your eyes or your attention off the resistances now, because that one is going to keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. Those are the people that want to see what we're building. They want to see what we're doing. So this is what we're going to do. And once this entire construct is done and it's built, it's going to be dropped into the Resistance is Now populace as one big, you got it, info bomb. And then that is going to be put together with everything that everybody else out there is building for the original first mass distribution info bomb. So that's got so much more complexity to it. The idea that I gave like 2 years ago for the info bomb was only skeletal structure, because we don't even know what information we want to put on this thing so that people can get the info bomb and say, hey, you really need to look at this. So here's a step. How about chemtrails? Chemtrails is a huge concept. How about this fake snow that's been flying around all over the place? That's a huge aspect of the info bomb. How about how the banking system is working? Huge info bomb. How about who the Bilderbergers are and what they do? Huge info bomb pieces. I just named 4 drastically huge and dramatically effective topics that if you were to find, and documentaries and supporting written literature and all that, and you put it on a little SD card, that's a hard-hitting piece of information. Start giving people the red pill. Stop just inviting them in. Go on the streets and start giving them the SD cards. Give them the red pill. And we're going to continue, as I said in the very first info bomb video, we're going to continue to build it and build it and build it. We want to make the Worldwide Resistance Network something that's solidified in the internet that won't move. So that when you put that sumbitch on the info bomb and they hit the Worldwide Resistance Network, it's always got current information. Right now it doesn't look the very best, but you're getting the idea. And remember, that started with just little old me stuck in a room somewhere. Okay? So we're not done building this thing. In time, there'll be a huge media publicity campaign pushed forward for money so we can do what we want to do with the cash. I want to see the Sanctuary Recovery Program come to life. I want to see a revolutionary, resistance-minded school opened that teaches farming, that teaches natural energies, that teaches everything they hid away from us from Tesla. Everything that I want an opposite. I want everything that's not what they teach in your school. And I want to provide us, the parents, the ability to choose that school to send our kids. I also want that school to be protested for, to be accredited by the governments of the world, that it is an appropriate school that you can receive your education from. Don't think that I don't dream big, because I do. The resistance is now was never supposed to be. It was just 6 Canadian stoners sitting on a couch. And don't you ever forget that. And now we got 5,000 people paying attention to us. What are we going to show them now that they're paying attention? That's the next step, alright? So let's take everything we're doing very fucking seriously. And just like everybody else there who's picking up on what's happening and why we say it, if you are hearing this, you are the resistance. Connor, out.